what it is.
You know, I want to have you talk because you served in a campaign that doesn't get much publicity.
Definitely.
And that's the Italian campaign.
Yes.
Before Normandy, we fought in Italy for almost a year. Well, yeah, pretty much a year if you include the invasion of Sicily. And you fought and it was a horrible, difficult campaign.
More difficult. Two of the worst and bloodiest battles was in Italy, at the river Monte Cassino, and the Abbey, and
did you hold it a little close?
And the Asian of Anzio. I was in both of them. So if you want to hear a little bit about it, I will. I never did.
Please do. Could you tell us a little bit about?
Yes, I can. Well, as soon as I was drafted, I was 18 years old and went to Mississippi, but was in the 69th Infantry Division. After that, they shipped us down to Newport News, Virginia, and shipping us out. They never tell you where you're going. But through the scuttlebutt, they said, well, we're going to go out to sea, anchor out there, and we're going to have a flotilla of 500 ships. So in the morning, we got up, and there was a sea of ships of all kinds. So we landed in Oran, Africa. From Oran, Africa, we went to where Humphrey Bogart made that movie there.
Casablanca.
Then they loaded us on cattle cars and 80 to a car. You couldn't lay down to sleep. Well, it took us 3 days to get to Algiers. From Algiers, we went down to the coast, and they put us on the British ship there. I thought it was from the old World War II. But anyhow, they took us over. We landed in Naples, Italy. Now that's where my mother and father took off from that port to come to the great United States of America. And my dad, still in Italy, he had a brother and a sister. And my mother had two brothers and a sister there. That's where Kelly from the north side won the Congressional Medal of Honor. He was in the same town that my mother and dad were born and shipped out from. So then they took us from there to the racetrack. It was called the Mussolini Racetrack. We didn't have a good meal even to come across the ocean for 30 days. And they starved us. So they found a chow to go to church. So I got my best silverware out to go eat. So anyhow, at that time they had stew. It was potatoes and meat. Now the meat was sweet and stringy. And when I was down, I went to the cook and said, hey, what kind of meat is this? He said, it's horse meat. I chuckled. I said, come on. He said, it's a racetrack, isn't it? I said, well, yeah. He said, you see any horses here? I said, I think I seen one. But I still didn't believe him. So I started back to my camp, and I was going at a pretty good gallop. Well, anyhow, from there, then they came around and gave us our T-pads. That was a Texas division. And he said, well, for now, you're under the going to be a replacement. You had the 36th Infantry Division under the command of General Mark Clark. We hated it. I'll tell you. Well, anyhow, when we had to go, they'd come at night and pick us up to give our practice and so on. They'd come to pick us up at night and took us to the front. And we waited at the bottom of the mountain for the 36th Infantry to come in. So they said, well, you might as well dig your foxhole here. Says, we got to wait for the 36th to come in. They called it the foxhole, but even the fox wouldn't live in it. Well, anyhow, that day we had to stay there, and it was wintertime. It was cold. In the morning, the 36th come in. We joined and went to the top of the mountain. When we got up there, they allowed us to pitch our pop tents, 2 to a tent. We put 2 tents together and had 4 in there for heat. Well, anyhow, the next day we got up, and it was January the 14th. The reason I remember that day so well, I just turned 19 years of age. And within a week or two, we went to the first battle was at the river at Monte Cassino, at the Rapido River. And the captain, he came down, they put me out for guard duty, overlooking the Rapido River in Monte Cassino. The Abbey was up on top of it. So this captain, he said, when you get out there, don't move. If you do, they're going to see you and they're going to fire at you. So I says, okay. We did find a spot and laid there, me and my buddy, got 4 on, 4 off. Here comes the captain. I said, what the heck's he doing here? Then they come down, and in our rations they had a chocolate candy bar in there. It was hard as a rock, but if you melted it, it would just give you hot chocolate. So the captain says to me, he says, soldier, go down and get the burner and bring it up here, and we're going to have some hot chocolate. You want hot chocolate? I said, you go get it yourself. I just come out right away. So I said, well, I'm in big trouble. I refused an offer. Well, anyhow, when I got off, went back to camp, they said, I texted some of the guys, I forget whether it was a non-commissioned officer or what. He said, don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? He said, nothing's going to happen. When you first come in, did you get a little booklet? He said, you read that booklet, it says in there, no officer or non-commissioned officer should tell you to do anything he wouldn't do himself. You didn't do it, so nothing happened. Well, then finally they got us together. We met. There was a lieutenant, first lieutenant, redhead. He said, "I'm your new company commander." I took the place of the captain that was in charge of us, and he says, "Most of you men will be killed before I even learn your name." Well, he should have never said that, but he did. And I'm going to tell you, he was right. Well, anyhow, I was making his rounds, and he comes to me, and he says, you know, it was my buddy that I trained with all the time. He says, you two guys look so much alike, I cannot tell you apart. And I said, well, everybody looks like something. Went on his way. So then they got us together, and he says, we're going to make an attack across the Rapido River, drive the Germans out of Monte Cassino in the Abbey. So they said, we're going to put the smoke pots out. So they he said, grab the guys back in front, back of you, left and right side, because you're not going to be able to see a thing. So we did. We like bananas. So we went down to the end of the mountain, and all of a sudden, and before we got to the creek, all hell broke loose. Oh my God. They come in there, it blew the smoke away. And it lit up the sky. I seen bodies piled up, ripped apart. I just couldn't believe I couldn't take no more. So I headed back to the bridges going across. No banister on them, and they were seeing that the river wasn't wide, but the snow that was melting made it rough. And you could see the bridges breaking loose, guys going down, falling in the water. They couldn't come up with all the clay. So I rushed how I got across there, I don't know, but I did. You couldn't hear nothing. So then orders come back and says, pull back to the original position. So I looked, the bridge was there, I crossed the bridge, went back up to the top of the mountain, and I sat down, I put my head between my legs, and I just couldn't believe what I saw, what happened. It was like a nightmare. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And when I got home, I got nightmares. I couldn't sleep with the wife anymore. I had to go into another room. My daughter, my son were gone, and I closed the doors so she wouldn't hear me. Well, then it subsided a little bit. Well, anyhow, when it was on the mountain there, the lieutenant come by, he says, put some dry socks on, get some rest, we're going back again tonight. And I says, oh my God, I says, I'll never make it. I could have been so lucky. How was I so lucky to make it a year? So then they got us together, and he says, well, we're not going to put the smoke pots out anymore. I says, thank God for that. You made a big mistake. So branch out, so you won't be stacked like bananas. So we started back down to the mountain. We got to the place where all hell broke loose, and nothing, not even a shot was fired. So we got to the river, and they had the pontoon boats there. I said, oh, good. If they broke loose from the river, all you did was travel downstream. And that's it. Nobody would drown. And so I looked, and I got across the pontoon boat. Me, I look alike. He said, the two, we look so much alike and tell us apart. And the lieutenant got in, went across the river, went on the bank. So the lieutenant says to me, let's go. So I got up, there was a field that was cleared. The Germans cut all the trees down in the shrubbery so we couldn't hide. So we started across the field. And when we got I looked behind, nobody was behind. Me, my lookalike, and my lieutenant, but the rest of them were still crossing the river. So I said, I kept going, walking towards it. And finally I said, there wasn't a shot fired. Finally I said, oh my God, they must have pulled out. As soon as I said that, man, all hell broke loose again. A shell hit behind me, and it blew me into a ditch filled with water. And I was out of it just for seconds. I didn't know where I was. Finally I come to, and I felt a lot of pain behind me. In my back, I looked back, my backpack was ripped open, my pants was ripped open. I put my hand behind it. My finger went into a hole, I was bleeding. I did the same with my back, another hole, I was bleeding. I looked over to my lookalike, oh my God. I got him direct. He was shattered from head to toe. So I can't remember his name. Finally, the lieutenant calls over, he says, are you guys okay? I said, Lieutenant, I'm hit in two places. He said, well, go back and get across the river, get some help. How in my world am I going to get back there with all this stuff coming in? So I either had to stay there and freeze and bleed to death, or if I was alive, the Germans was going to get me. I said, I'm going to try to make it. I struggled to get up, which I did, and I started back towards the river, and by God, I could almost hear the machine guns like going past me. How I never got hit again, I will never know. Anyhow, I get to within 10 feet of the river, and a shell hit to my left, and the soldier went down. So I goes down over there, and who do you think it was? I knelt down. Lieutenant Spike, the one that said, most of you guys will be killed before you even know your name. He was out of it, but he wasn't dead. And there was nobody around, because everybody, by the time I got to the river, it was 50 feet or so behind him. So I looked around, I happened to see a couple of guys. I called to them, come here, come here. And they said, I said, look, it's Lieutenant Spike. He's hit bad, he's out of it. We got to get him out of here, he's going to die here. So we got him, took him down to the river, put him in a rubber raft. I cut the lines loose on it, picked the raft up ahead. On both sides, it had the handles as you get, so we got it, and we started downstream. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know where the field hospital was. I don't know how far we walked, and I was bleeding. It was going down into my shoe. And so I finally hit some guy. I said, where's the field hospital at? He said, go down here, make a left turn, you'll see it. So I went down there. I went to, and there there were GIs laying all over the place out there. I happened to see the guy come in. I said, hey, I called him over. I said, the lieutenant's hit bad. He needs help bad. He said, well, you see what we got here? He said, but how he looked at it, he says, I'll take him. So they took him right away. He said, how about you? I said, well, I'm hit in two places. He said, will you be all right? I said, yes, I'll be fine. So he said, I'll be back out. So he come back out, put me on the stretcher, took me in, they operated on me. Next thing is I landed in Naples, Italy, in a hospital there. Now, as I was in a hospital, I have a brother that was a year older than me. He was in the 28th Infantry Division out of Pennsylvania. He was at the Battle of the Bulge, wounded twice, 2 separate times, and earned the Bronze Star like I did. And so I thought to me, I said, well, my mother going to get something about him being in a hospital, laying in there, and then she'll get another letter saying he's back again, wounded. And now she's going to get one that I'm laying in the hospital. And I said to myself, oh my God, I said, how much can a mother take? You know, it was terrible. And anyhow, I got out, sent me back to my outfit. And for my outfit, there was only 6 of us that come back alive. The rest of them were either dead or they couldn't come back. So it wasn't too long. They took us down to the Mediterranean, loaded us on the LSTs, and we went up to the shore in the region of Anzio, got a hell of a beating there too. And from there, they sent me home. I'm under the care of the Veterans Administration, 50% post-traumatic stress. But the thing is, we got back home, both of us, my brother and I, we got back alive, but we had problems. I still have a little bit, but there's no miracle pill that's going to take care of it. You know, you gotta put up with it. Now, as far as Anzio goes, that was a big one. We lost a lot of boys, not men. They were 18 and 19 years old, like myself. And he put us to the slaughter. It should have never hated. And we hated General Mark Clark very much. It should have never happened. And he wanted to go across the 3rd time, but his general said, no way. We're not going to be with you. We did the 1st and 2nd, but never, we're not going to put these boys through that again. And from then, I got the beating of the Anzio, put me to the field hospital, and the doctor looked at me and examined me and everything, and he says, son, I'm not sending you back. I'm sending you home. Okay, so when he sent me home, within a week, the war was over in Italy. And that's when the invasion in France come over too, see? And that's about the, but I never come back 60, 70 years, I never talked about it. I even turned Todd down for the embassy. So after 60, 70, they said, you better open up. The people want to know. The young people want to know. This is history. And this is the 2nd time, really, that I really told this story. Now, it didn't bother me to talk about it, but it bothered my brother. I wanted to have him come with me with the Breakfast Club, and he says, I don't want any part of it. Walked away from it. We lived in the same house. I never knew how he got wounded, how he earned a Bronze Star. I don't know to this day. I asked his son. His son said he never talked about it. So to this day, I don't know how, anything about him. And that's the extent of it. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that very much.